Muses of Mythology is a spoiler-heavy podcast.
That's an understatement.
We're going to discuss not just the events of this book, but the Rhineverse as a whole, and really anything that we feel is relevant. You can find full spoiler warnings in the show notes. I'm not saying we need warrior kings. I am saying if you're gonna do it, at least do it yourself. Moving on.
A general president would be kind of nice this day and age.
At least someone competent would be kind of nice this day and age.
Yeah.
The bar's really low.
The bar's on it's in
right
hell. Moving on. Welcome to Muses of Mythology, a podcast where we explore how ancient myths become part of modern pop culture through the lens of Barbarian's Kane Chronicle. This is Story 110, Set. I'm your co-host and podcasting muse, Darien Smart. Joining me is my co-host and brother, DJ.
How's everybody doing today? I'm DJ the Muse and Cash. Settle. He's just being a little gurry right now.
He's just he's mad that you're not holding him.
Yeah, I know, literally. Or he's mad that the window's open because he can hear things going on outside.
You gotta close that. We're recording.
I'll close it during the garden.
Okay. Go close that fucking... What are you doing? Okay, DG, we are jumping into things feet first. And today, joining us on the high dive is a guest.
Woo! Who is it?
It's Charlie from Of the Eldest Gods. Members of our Patreon over on Bunker 9 have definitely heard Charlie and their co-host Ray when they joined us to talk about Hades for my birthday bonus episode some time ago. But you may also remember Charlie from their very brief cameo from episode... I don't remember the number, but it was View from Mount Olympus when we wrapped up the Percy Jackson books. But now they're here for a full, official episode. Yeah. Charlie, thank you so much for joining us this evening, this morning, this afternoon, whenever you're listening to this.
Longtime fan, first time actually on the official pod episode for...
You'll be like a titled episode guest.
I know, right?
On the marquee.
I'm starstruck. I can't believe it. I'm finally here.
The listeners should be starstruck. We are starstruck. We're struck by the stars. By Geb and her children. Charlie, why did you ask to be on this episode?
It is not Geb.
Yeah.
It's Newt.
I do that in my head a lot. That's the first time it's escaped containment.
Why did I choose to be on this episode? Well, I really, really love my sassy gay uncle sets. Mm-hmm. So why would I not want to be on this episode?
This is fair.
For the chaos.
There you go.
Truly, the chaos.
Excellent, excellent. Well, let's just jump in. Hey, Charlie, you want to tell us a little bit about Set from the Kane Chronicles?
Oh man, I'm being put on the spot here.
That's the point of this bit.
Yeah, I know. Let's see. What does Set do? He kind of replaced some old rivalries with Horus and Isis and Osiris. He kills Julius. That's not really great.
He does just straight up murk Julius Cain.
Yeah,
it's a little crazy.
Not really great. He tries to, destroy North America. But, when it comes to destroying the world, he's like, I'm not about that. I want to rule over people.
He still wants to rule something.
Yeah. Him and Amos, kind of have an interesting relationship.
Yeah. We didn't unpack that when we talked about the books, and I would love to spend
time to unpack all of that.
Right? Yeah, because I do. Here's the thing, though, is that I do love what happens in the last book, Serpent Shadow, where
I have to reread that.
It's fun. Wherein it's crazy. Actually, that's what Serpent Shadow is. It's crazy.
True,
but the finding ways to... This is the thing that DJ and I have talked about, how that it is not like good versus evil, it's order versus chaos, but also that the Canes themselves are representing chaos and order is stagnation. Like maintaining order is what is threatening the world as Apophis gains power and the magicians refuse to deviate from their like rigid structures.
Yeah.
And I feel that Amos and Set reuniting, and Amos acting as like the eye of Set and being able to like channel his abilities in the final battle for this like tool for good to battle against Apophis and total entropy is a fascinating like kind of leaning into that theme. But it's still like, I don't feel like Rick Riordan has like explored it really properly or like made that a through line. That might just be a thing that like DJ and I kind of project into it.
It certainly is, because they just don't talk about how the fact
Exactly,
that in the first book, it's so obvious that the Canes are chaos and the Ohms are order. Like it's so obvious.
Yeah, but like the whole thing about the series is that it really needs to be balance. Like you can have some chaos and you can have some order. You need both working in tandem to create like society. Really.
Yeah. And the thing about that though is that like it feels like instead what we have is like good versus evil in the order v chaos battle, right? And you don't want both. Like I don't think a functioning society needs evil in order to be good, but it needs a little chaos amidst the order to be fruitful, right? And Rick Riordan just didn't really bend into that. But the thing I really want to unpack is the absolute deep traumatic scars that Amos comes away from the Set possession with, and how I feel like that damage and harm done to him is just dusted away in order for the let's be able to utilize Set to battle at the end this cool sequence to play out.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
It just
like
happened.
I said,
it happened. He resolves it off screen with a chat, like a good heart to heart says, like, hey man, I really didn't appreciate what you did back there.
Like
hey man,
I
really didn't. That's the
reread the third book in a minute, but I did like just reread like the first two, and I'm like, okay, like he's coming to grips with it, and like Set in the second book is kind of more just like he's the villain that has been defeated, and he's just kind of chilling here, and like is still creating chaos, but like. He's not doing actual
he's Hades
evil.
From Go the Distance.
He is so Hades from the Twisted Tale Go the Distance. Absolutely.
Book I still need to read.
Wonderful.
It's a great. Hey, it's.
I'm working my way through the Twisted Tales. Okay, there's so many.
Jump to it. I think it was the second one I listened to.
This is the best one. The thing is it the best one? No, Brave to the Future is the best one because it's so unhinged. And how did they let her get away with it? I need to know.
It's just Back to the Future.
All right, how did you get away with it? No, but the thing I just because as you said, DJ, he's kind of just hanging, and he's like a villain, but he's like a fun villain. Like Charlie, before we started recording, we were talking about how on your podcast you just recorded the Russia scenes, and that's when
he comes back,
and it's the first time we see him, and he's so good, like
right. This is why I love Set. I was like, I reread Throne of Fire, and I'm like, oh my god, he's just my sassy gay uncle.
Yep, absolutely. And it's the I love him being like, wow, if only someone could free me, mayhaps, and I would be able to help. I don't
would have to take a side, you know.
Like, okay, someone. Oh, weird.
Perhaps,
mayhaps, and it is. So funny, and that like takes the teeth out of this character who killed their dad.
Yeah, exactly. He was terrifying from like chapter 1 on in the first book, and then he becomes like, oh well, I have to distract Vlad the Inhaler so that Carter and Sadie can figure out what they're doing. They're taking too long. Carter Kane is right over there. That's literally what we're talking about.
Okay, we're gonna expedite this. Is get with it, kids. I believe in you. That's really right. And he like calls them out specifically to try to like force their hand into freeing him. And it's so fun, but it is like he killed their dad, and the kids are still upset about this. Like obviously they don't ever forgive him, but I feel like we the reader are supposed to be like, that's just Set. He's our sassy gay uncle. Now it's like
literally
he's so
complex. Like, well, our dad's technically still alive, and our mom is still with our dad, so we get to hang out. It's like
and Julius
pushed past that a
tells,
touch.
Yeah, and in Red Pyramid, like, Julius told Sadie that, no, you can't save me. I have to die so Osiris can, like, die again and become king of the underworld because he's been trapped for 2,000 years? I think
Father
right.
of the Year.
Father of the Year. Yeah, 2,000. It's been 2,000 years because that is when Cleopatra the Seventh, and that was when Iskandar decided no more gods running amok. Yep. And it's like, okay, Iskandar, that's a choice we made. So it's like Set had to kill Julius in order for Osiris to go back into the underworld for there to be balance again. So in that way, Set is just helping us fulfill the design of Mott.
Again, it's the chaos with the order working in tandem. Yeah. Like, Set helps with that design in a way.
Yeah. It's just literally yin yang. That's all it is.
Yeah, and that is the concept of yin yang.
Exactly.
Just like the fact that I can't remember the magic house name.
House of Life?
Magician? House of Life.
Just
like in general, like the order.
House.
The order, right?
Yeah.
House of Life. Yeah, the House of Life. The fact that they're just like, no, we gotta have order. It's only order. And it's like, no, bro, it's on the grand scheme of things, sure, order, but you gotta have chaos within the order.
Right? Yeah, little bits of chaos as a treat. And that's what Set's supposed to represent. Because he's not a Apophis. And I think Rick Riordan does that very well. But I do feel like these larger like themes and branches that we three are like analyzing here are us as readers bringing it to the text. I'm not entirely sure if this was intentional. Like Set killing Julius as an element of restoring Mott, I don't think is a thing Rick intended to get us as readers to let him off the hook. Like, I don't think that's ever like explored as this is a thing that happened and that does contribute to this. And I think that's us as readers drawing this conclusion because we are clever and smart. And not that Rick Riordan isn't, it's just not the intention, I think.
No, it's not his intention at all.
And all of that said, y'all, I had a time getting into this research. Charlie's seen the notes because I always send the notes to the guest. DJ, here's a fun fact. I don't know if we've been doing this for 5 years. I don't know if listeners know this. DJ never sees the notes. I don't.
No, I'll make my own sometimes, but very rarely.
Like, but the very comprehensive like deep dive research notes, and that's not on purpose. If DJ ever wanted to see the notes and wanted me to share them, like I absolutely would. But like I just don't, and sometimes because I'm literally finishing them the last minute before we jump on a recording. But Charlie has seen this. DJ hasn't, so Charlie knows my preamble to this episode. Which I needed to write because I was struggling so very hard trying to like find my through line for Set. Because I'd like to feel like the episode is structured. I really approach these like I'm approaching a research paper where I like having like, here's a thesis, here's an idea, here's a through line, here's a thought to unpack. And I was struggling so hard with Set that I had to write this preamble that's basically me saying, I will not be able to successfully convey how the ancient Egyptians felt about Set. Because there are a lot of historical events that would suggest XYZ happens, but immediately in that aftermath, actually totally opposite thing happens. And I'm like, hold on, that's not my through line. And I'm trying to find like an order of like, how do we get from this set to this set? But there's not like a chronological through line where you see the evolution of this deity, because the early versions of Set are like so fundamentally there from the jump, and things that are different come so much later, but they aren't replacing these earlier beliefs. And I think the reason for that is a thing that we've talked about a little bit, but it's become just so more aggressively apparent. It's that like even when Egypt was like a united kingdom, it was still a bunch of gnomes spread through a desert, and with their own practices and their own beliefs. And even though they have like this unified like ruling system and bureaucracy and culture, it's still like there's not a canon. The Egyptians didn't have like a canon text of like, this is what we believe. And I'll have to admit, like, I think one of the reasons I struggled with this or struggled to find pieces and create this narrative is because it's so different than what like modern dominant monotheistic religions operate, right? My example being in 325 AD, Roman Emperor Constantine I got together a bunch of bishops for the Council of Nicaea, which basically decided this is what Christians are going to believe, right? They decided what texts are canon. They were like, what is going to be true? They decided whether or not Jesus, Son of God, was mortal or divine, and whether Jesus and God, capital G, were distinct entities. And their answers were that divine and they are of one substance, right?
Technically distinct, but Jesus is Lord.
Right, exactly. That's it. And that's where we get the anyway. So
Old Testament God, not Jesus, but Jesus is God.
Yes. And those are beliefs that modern Christians practice to this day. Like growing up, going to Catholic school, I was taught those same things from 325 years ago, from 325 AD, from 1700 years ago. Mm-hmm. But in Egypt, over the course of 1700 years, the belief systems about their deities were going to change, and they were going to evolve, and they were going to shift with who's in power and what cults or priesthoods have the throne and things like that. My phone locked. Unlock, please. Thank you, babe. And so, a cult of Tote in Upper Egypt is probably going to be running off a different playbook than a cult of Tote in Lower Egypt, and that's fine. And so, what I really also want to say is, like, I think it would be like if in 3,000 years, someone was trying to put together an overview of what 21st century Christians believed about Jesus, but they were pulling from Catholicism and Baptists and Mormonism. And so they're having a hard time puzzling out, like, when he died on the cross and when he was resurrected from the tomb. And then at what point in time did he go to North America and teach the indigenous peoples there? Like, that's what I think I'm coming up against, is that I have to accept there's no through line, there's no fundamental canon, and we've talked about that a lot, but this is where I really hit that wall, and I had to write this preamble just to free myself from that need for structure. So we're not getting a tight narrative about Set, we're getting a highlight reel of the things I thought would be most interesting to talk about today.
Yeah. Darien, like, this is the third mythology you've covered, and like you can really tell how different each of the things are. We go from, like, the Greeks have multitude of texts, like, there's obviously the different belief systems
writing shit down, bro.
all over the place, but there's text. It's all over the place. Then there's the Norse. Mm-hmm. You got the one text, very biased for this specific thing. And then there's the Egyptians. We don't have a lot as far as, like, text in the same way.
Yeah.
And it's, like, so much more ancient.
Yes. And it is literally, it's, like, written
probably
in a language
like
that...
the longest of, like, the living religions, like, at the time. Like, that existed. Like, it's insane. Mm-hmm. So, like, trying to encompass all of that in the span of an hour for one deity.
Right.
You're doing the Lord's work, truly.
Which one?
Exactly.
Thank you, Charlie. That's very sweet of you. Okay. So I would like to start off with our Set the Horus. We've been going through with each of our Ennead figures, the children of Nut and Geb, and I've been highlighting their roles in that, like, Osiris, Isis, Set, Horus conflict as we go. And I think I'm going to wrap that up today, specifically because Horus is going to have a lot. He's also going to have a lot. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to focus on other things. So we're going to get to the conclusion of that conflict here today. So let me set you all better. Okay, so we know Set takes out Osiris and he rules as Pharaoh. But once Horus reaches adulthood, he shows up and he challenges Set for the throne. Does anyone want to take a guess on how long this conflict went on for?
Too long.
I mean, too long for mortals or too long for deities?
Trying to remember, what was that sacred number for Egypt?
Ooh, okay.
5 or 9 days?
Okay. DJ saying 5 or 9 days.
I can't
so around
remember
a
what
week.
the number was.
But you're saying about a week? Whether it's 5 or 9?
Whatever the number is for, like, the holy number for Egypt. Because every fucking religion has one.
Mm-hmm.
I accidentally already looked at the notes, so
I know.
Wow.
But if you didn't look at the notes, what would you have thought?
I definitely would have thought like a span of like too many years. Honestly, I would have thought more than what GJ is saying. So,
Well, DJ's just saying. I think DJ's saying like either it was 5 days, 5 years, 9, whatever that's like sacred
there's
number.
just
I probably
a
would have
number,
said like 20,
right? Like because
or something.
Yeah.
Christianity's got 40 days for trials and tribulations, right? The Greek has like 3, big for 3. A lot of them are, but
Well, 3. Listen, 3. You want to talk about the number 3? We can't talk about the number 3. 80 years.
80.
That's
That's
so
crazy.
And I don't
That's a
think,
long-ass time.
yeah, right. That feels like a long ass time. What? Why?
Like, I know that they're gods, and like time means nothing. But also, Horus was
But
like
also-
a child, and he wanted to be king. And
Well,
you know, in human years, he would be old by the
Right, I
time
think-
this is finished.
Yeah. And they are deities, and I think Horus shows up once he's reached full maturity, like whatever that meant
Yeah.
for the Egyptians. But like, and I guess they're gods; they don't age except if you're raw, I guess.
But-
As we
Yeah,
talked
who
about.
But you know what I'm
knows?
saying?
Yeah.
If you're
No, it's
thinking about
crazy.
it in human years, he wouldn't have had a reign after this
No, right,
anyway.
Oh, that's
Like-
so crazy. How long were you rolling for? Okay.
I mean, Ra
so-
ruled for millennia. We know that. So.
That yeah. Okay, so the elements of the story we have come from 2 different places. And we talked about how like the mythology of Egypt is like hard to, like we talked about the Osiris episode about the story of Osiris, that it's like there's we don't have like a full, here's like an account that someone wrote down of what happened, except for Plutarch, who does this like 300 years after Cleopatra's death, and he's Greek. So we have the pyramid texts that we've talked about a lot, and these were funerary texts carved into the tombs of rulers, specifically kings, but some queens, and later on some like royal officials. And these are like circa 2400 BCE. And then the next big source we have for this conflict of Set and Horus comes from a text I mentioned in the previous episode about, or a couple episodes ago, about Isis, from the Chester Beatty Papyrus 1, which is called The Contendings of Horus and Set. And this was from the Ramses dynasty, one of them, from kingship, from like 1149 BCE. So 1300 years later is when someone sat, at least what we have. Like, someone may have done this way sooner and we just don't have it anymore. That's always the caveat. But these 2 texts are totally different purposes, right? Like the pyramid texts or funerary rites carved into these temples, and they're basically a series of spells to guide the deceased into the afterlife. It's not, they in them themselves are not telling us a story, but like sometimes these spells will reference an element of this tale to like use as an example, right? Whereas the Contendings is a text that recounts this mythological conflict, one that Egyptologist Antonio Lapiro has argued is the first instance of mythology entering the literary field and becoming a textual genre. So very two. So 2 very different sources for what we're going to talk about here today, making it nearly impossible to establish a clear narrative. You understand what I've been up against, dear co-host, guest, and listeners. So,
yeah.
we got 80 years. Then we had both violent battles where most of the gods like backed Horus, but some sources were like, well, but the reason it took so long is because like the judge was kept backing Set, and that judge was either Ra or Geb. It depends. And I'm like, okay, sure. They do like magical contests. At one point, they both had to shapeshift into a hippo and see who could hold their breath the longest in the Nile. There was a boat race, we'll pin in that, and also like verbal debates on the right of authority.
It was just Scott versus Todd from Scott Pilgrim versus the World, or the comic series at least.
See, when I
That
talked
fight
about
went on for like weeks, if not months, and they just kept doing trial after trial and competition. They weren't ever actually fighting each other because they're like, but he's got like vegan powers. A physical competition's not super fair. So how are we going to settle this? Like, okay, we'll do other competitions.
Yeah.
Until Scott's like, or until everyone was like, this fucking sucks. I'm tired of this. Scott, let's just not do it. And Scott's like, okay.
when I talked about this on my pod, I was just like, the set and Horus, just like them doing their battles, feels like it should be like one of those old cartoons, like freaking Roadrunner or something, like where they're just doing like these insane cartoonish contests against each other that like really just go on forever. It has no meaning or no purpose, no real plot. They just keep going on and on.
Like,
doing
none of these things
different
are actually going to say who deserves to be king, except for like those verbal debates. But like, and then one last thing that was involved in it, semen.
There you go.
Now, content warning, dear listeners, things are going to get icky here.
It's just
yeah.
they're examining like vials of it. It's like, oh, Set's got like lacking in numbers, but Horus has got low motility. So we're trying to figure this out here. Or low sperm count on Set's side, but low motility on Horus' side. I mean, the chances are going to be low regardless.
How I wish that was it. How I
so
wish.
Much better, DJ. It is so
simpler.
It's going to be icky because I'm about to say the word semen a lot in this next part, and that's like, I don't love that. It's also like full on content warning. Uncomfortable, not great, because there is an element of
rape.
How do I word this accurately? There is an implied sexual assault that in some texts is not assault, is a consensual act, and in some texts is outright assault. And I'm not going to be describing that in detail. I'm not going to be reading a quote from the text of this thing. We're just stating this, and then we're going to move past it. But it's still a theme that comes up a lot. So if you're like, I don't need to hear anything associated with that, I will go ahead and I'm going to put in the show notes the timestamp to when I start on this next section. So, and if you're also just like, I don't want to hear the word semen a bunch. Like, also, you can just skip in the show notes. We're going to move on. So basically 80 years into this, at some point in time, Set propositions Horus, who agrees, and on the grounds he's given some of Set's strength. But this is a super big deal, and not because of the incest reasons, right? Like, Horus's parents or siblings, no one cares. It's because this essentially puts Set in a position of power over Horus, because Set's not playing catcher, so to speak. In some accounts, Horus actually becomes sick after Set's semen enters him, but in the contendings and specific papyrus are referencing, Horus instead just catches the semen in his hands before it can reach a intended destination. Now, when Horus shows Isis this, she is horrified, like screaming.
Look at this! In his hand. Look at this! It's green. What the fuck?
Isis cuts off Horus's hands and throws everything into the Nile. But look, Horus's hands are going to heal off screen. Don't worry about it. It's kind of like his eye that Set stole before. I'll talk about that in the Horus episode. Next, speaking of icky, Isis then gets some of Horus's semen, and she goes to Set's gardener and is like, hey, what's his favorite food? And the gardener's like, I've only ever seen Set eat lettuce. And now...
Cum glazed lettuce.
No! I mean, yes, but no! So, some historical context about lettuce in this story with, like, because you need to understand, it's not, hey, Set's a health nut who's constantly chowing down on some fresh salads. The ancient Egyptians viewed lettuce as an aphrodisiac because it's narrow and rigid, and when you rub it, stuff comes out. It was a symbol of men, their
Veiny,
god of fertility.
Sometimes purple.
Sure. We move on. So this whole narrative has like two important things that we were supposed to understand about Set. Is that his fondness for lettuce, this food, heavily, it'd be like it'd be like a creepy dude saying, I only eat oysters and chocolate. No,
Yeah.
right? Like that's the energy Set loves lettuce is meant to communicate. And his sexual act with Horus, which, as I said, is sometimes consensual and sometimes not, it's meant to underline Set's sexual deviancy. And earlier, we were talking about Set as our sassy gay uncle, which I love. I love, and I'm into Set from the Kane Chronicles as our sassy gay uncle. I would love if Amos is also queer, and that's actually what they were, like, able to meet each other on, and that's actually a part that they, obviously, not in the text, maybe it would be now. I think if Rick was going to revisit this, we might get a little bit more than we did
Amos
before.
doesn't say anything about any potential partners.
He doesn't.
We could make shit up.
We could do any headcanon we want, and my headcanon is Amos is gay.
Absolutely.
I'm going to give it to us right now,
Fully.
and that's actually the thing he and Set were able to meet on, is this, the challenges they both respectively faced in the shadow of a brother who was the perfect embodiment of the cultural needs and was completely, like, ordinary and accepted in every way. And that. And that
So
works. I like that for the Kane
wasn't. He was
Chronicles. I think-
black. He wasn't
what I'm
ordinary
saying.
and accepted in every way.
Right. But, like, Julius, let's say Julius has, like, is the perfect son for the parents, right? And based on my understanding, okay, this is specifically coming from the episode of Master of None, where one of the characters is a black woman who's a lesbian, and she talks about how black parents, like, yeah, it's hard for any kid to be gay, but black parents are, like, really, like, culturally, that's, like, I failed as a parent if my kid is gay, right? That's what I'm pulling from. And this is not my culture. I'm a white lady, so I'm not speaking from a place of, like, true understanding. This is a thing I saw on a TV show a while ago, but, like, I can see that as an angle of Amos feeling, like, othered and not enough because his brother was so perfect and he was so not. And, like, that would be interesting. And of course we would have that in Rick Riordan's text without this other icky rapey part, because we like Apollo.
Love Apollo.
Rick Riordan did a
Big
really
fan of
good
Apollo.
job of being like, yeah, Apollo has done bad things, but not that kind of bad thing. My Apollo didn't do that. He's
Not
just
this Apollo. He's a
lacked
jackass.
empathy.
He's a jackass.
He's
He's a little abrasive. He's not that
He's-
abrasive.
He's lashed out at his lovers when they hurt his feelings, and that's not good, but he didn't ever do that thing, even though
Yeah.
Mythic Apollo absolutely did all the time. So
Yep.
that's what I'm saying. Over here, Rick Riordan set, that's our sassy gay uncle, and I love him. This set we also have, this is a reason these two elements are, sometimes Set is interpreted as a god of homosexuality, and while I'm always down for our queer gods, because, you know, historically they've been aggressively erased even when they were explicitly gay. Considering the intention of what we were supposed to understand about Set in these stories with these elements, I'm not sure that interpretation is particularly positive for the gays. So I'm not sure I'm going to invite Set to my queer pantheon the same way that Loki is part of the queer pantheon. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right? Like, Set from the Kane Chronicles? Yes. Set from Mythic Egypt? Predator.
Yeah.
Predator.
Fair enough.
And it sets, like, sexuality that actually leads to his defeat in the contendings. Now, he chows down on some, DJ, what did you say earlier?
Come glazed lettuce.
Thank you. And then they roll up to Tote to settle another, like, verbal debate, because Tote's here all the time. And Set claims
just
Horus.
Fucking horned out the whole time. Can't think straight.
Probably. No, he says to Set that Horus cannot be king because, I quote, have performed the labor of a male against him. And he's basically saying that Horus doesn't get to be king because Set dominated him in a sexual act, which sucks for a lot of reasons. We're going to move past it.
Yeah, but it never
Horus-
entered me, asshole. You ate my cum.
That's
Bottoms
exactly what
can't be
happens.
kings. Apparently,
Yep.
bottoms just can't be.
Yes, that is exactly what they're saying. So Horus denies this and encourages Tote to summon Set semen as proof. And when the God of Wisdom does, it actually comes out of the marshes because that's where Isis threw it. And so he actually also asks Horus also says, all right, summon my semen, which he does. And quote, and it emerged as a golden solar disk upon Set's head. Set became exceedingly furious and extended his hands to seize the golden disk. Tote took it away from him and placed it as a crown upon his own head. And so Set took an oath by the gods as follows. He shall not be awarded the office. This translation of the contendings is something I'm getting from an article by Morgan Jerkins, which is an article called Lettuce and Kings, the Power Struggle Between Horus and Set.
Horus jerked into the lettuce.
Yeah. So in some texts, after this, DJ, what did you call it again?
Cum glazed lettuce.
Yeah, so after the lettuce incident, Horus and Set have a boat race. And Horus's victory, despite the fact that he totally cheated, is what awards him the throne. But in this particular text I'm quoting, like Set straight up says, okay, because I have allowed another man's semen to enter me, I am unworthy of the throne. And while Set is a villain who killed his brother and is not the rightful heir of the throne, there's like some icky ancient implications that like this is what ends his reign. And like, I'm not going to unpack him here. I don't want to. I'm not the person to do that. There are lots of other very smart scholars who have a lot more thoughts and probably cultural understandings. But I want to be done talking. I don't want to say the word semen for the rest of this episode. So, I'm going to talk about Set and his relationship as a deity of foreigners.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, in some accounts, after the Horus and Set conflict is resolved, they actually divide up the world. So Horus takes control of the kingdom of Egypt, while Set essentially rules the Red Lands, like the wild, infertile deserts. And maybe that's why Set loves lettuce so much. Why did I write that? What does that mean? Oh, because fertility god. The deserts are infertile, so he loves lettuce because fertility. That's what that joke was. I wrote that at like 10 o'clock this morning, and then I went to the Pride Festival, and I was in the sun all day, gang. Darien's tapped. So this is also why Set likely became so heavily associated with foreigners, because he was the god of the others, the thing that was not like our Egyptian culture, right? It also might have been due to the fact that foreign people, including a group the Egyptians called the Hyksos, embrace Set due to these similarities to their own major gods. In fact, in a document we call Papyrus Salier 1, it stated that the Hyksos king Apepi of the 15th dynasty, quote, chose for his lord the god Set. He did not worship any other deity in the whole land except Set. And that's a choice. That's a choice they made. Another important key element of this is that I did say this guy was king. He wasn't like a king of some other land as like, I'm a fan of Set. This guy was king of Egypt because the Hyksos conquered Egypt. That 15th dynasty was the first time in history a foreign power ruled Egypt. They were in control through the end of the Middle Kingdom and through the Second Intermediate Period. Obviously, as we talked about, intermediate periods are when Egypt is broken, so there's actually a lot of ruling factions at the time, so they weren't the only folks running the show. And the Hyksos rule actually saw the introduction of the horse and chariot, as well as the sickle, which are pretty great technological advancements. But after Amos the First overthrew the Hyksos rulers and established the 18th dynasty, kicking off the New Kingdom era, the Hyksos were always remembered as a violent, bloodthirsty oppressor, because history is written by the winners. So, Set's association with these hated outsiders almost certainly colored the ancient Egyptians' perception of him. Later on, in like those late Third Intermediate late periods, Set would become even less popular as we have like the Persians and other groups just totally conquering and dividing up Egypt. And by this time, we kind of just stopped seeing Set a lot. But before we hit that point where Egypt has basically totally broken up with Set, there is a moment in time where he gained a lot of popularity and respect in the New Kingdom. Before I transition there, I want to open up the floor. Did anybody have any thoughts on this concept of Set?
I mean, So Set seems to represent, like, a lot of, like, the othered. He's the foreigners, he's the gays.
Yep.
He's the villains. How I tend to interpret him, like, even his mythological thing, is, like, he's the classic Disney villain.
Yes.
Like, specifically. Like, okay, well, we can't have any of those specific types of people represented as our heroes. They have to be our villains. And that's what Set, honestly, like, really brings to the table here. He's like, okay, I can't be your hero, I'll be your villain.
Exactly, yeah. He in all these aspects, he represents the things that are outside the norm. Like, in this context for ancient Egypt, it's like outside of the structure of Mot, like what can be controlled, right? And Set is of the deserts that they have not been able to tame into fertility because it's too far from the Nile. He's the foreigners, these other powers that do not answer to Egyptian kingdom's rule. He represents kinds of peoples who do not fall into the status quo of relationship and human bonds that are deemed as the solid structure for heirs and passing property and things like that. Like, those are all, you can't control for these things. They refuse to be controlled. They aren't the way things are, quote, supposed to be. And that is everything Set represents. And I think there is space for a really interesting interpretation of Set as this, like, god of outsiders. You can have that as more of, like, a sympathetic outcast, or it could be like you said, Charlie, a straight up, like, fine, if you won't let me be a hero because of what I am, then I will be your villain. I think there's a lot of room for that.
Yeah, and, like, certainly some of his stories, he is outright just, we cannot apologize for the things that he has done, but what he represents is a little bit bigger than those stories in itself. And that, like, yeah, he represents these foreigners that took over that, again, we rewrote as, like, okay, they're the bad guys. Like, who's to say there wasn't, like, a lost story as well about, like, Set being this homosexual god that wasn't painted in such a terrible light, but we don't know.
We don't know. And there's also the I didn't fall too deep down this rabbit hole, but there's some scholars who don't classify the High Coast people as, like, a complete foreigners, that maybe they were actually, like, part of the Egyptian kingdom and seceded at some point during a time of instability. And are more, like, Egyptian than would be thought at a glance. But I don't have a lot of depth in that. But there's a lot of space for interpretation and exploration that I find very fascinating in Set. Especially when we add this last layer that I want to explore of Set as protector. In Egyptian mythology, Set's physical strength was unmatched. Richard H. Wilkinson, who's my BFF this season thanks to his book, stated that iron was called the bones of Set. His scepter was said to weigh the equivalent of 4,500 pounds, which is like 2,000 something kilograms for the rest of the world. And his most common epitaph was of great of strength. I've got a new funerary text to talk about today, the Amduat, in which this text cites Set as one of the gods who protects Ra from the chaos serpent as the solar deity's barge sails through the underworld. There's an image from the papyrus of Horus, which depicts Set slaying the serpent in from the front of the solar barge, protecting the syncretic deity Re Horaki, which is like a Ra Horus blend together. And that's pretty tight. Set was also connected to battle and warfare. An 18th dynasty relief in Karnak shows Set teaching the pharaoh Thutmose III how to use a war bow. So, for a deity who's supposed to represent chaos and othering and disaster, warrior kings were kind of really into him, which is probably why he ended up being a patron god of the Ramses kings during the 19th dynasty. The founder, Ramses I, came from a military family from Arvis with strong ties to the priesthood of Set, so he was already a fan coming in. And many of the Ramsedid, I don't know how to pronounce this word, there were too many consonants. Many of these 19th dynasty kings took names for Set, like Sethos, which means man of Set, or Sekati, which is Set is mighty. So, again, for this is where it was like hitting the wall of like, wait, but this is a deity who kills like the first pharaoh, right? And is unrighteous and is chaos. But you have these Ramses king being like, we love this guy. And that's where it's like, but why? And it's like, because I'm probably missing a huge piece of cultural understanding because it was 1,000 years. Moving on. Ramses II is said to have fought like Set at the Battle of Kadesh, which was a battle between the Egyptian kingdom and the Hittite Empire, dated to May 1274 BC. It's considered to be the earliest battle that we actually have like detailed, structured notes on what happened here. Also believed to be the largest battle ever fought involving chariots, numbered up to 6,000 possibly. After being outmaneuvered, ambushed, and surrounded, Ramses II personally led the charge through the Hittite ranks with his bodyguard. They broke through and avoided capture and death. And though this battle, which is why they're like, whoa, he fought like Set, that was crazy. These are warrior kings, right? Like, our leadership today could never. They're just so comfortable sending the son of poor men to war when they would never go themselves. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not saying we need warrior kings. I am saying if you're gonna do it, at least do it yourself.
I am
Moving
a
on.
general president would be kind of nice this day and age. I
At least someone competent would be kind of nice this day and age.
yeah.
The bar's
Moving
really
on.
low.
The
bar
bar's
is
on
low
the,
as
it's
fuck
in
right now.
hell. All right. So, though the battle ended in a stalemate, the warring kingdoms would eventually come to a peace treaty, which included Ramses II marrying a Hittite princess. When this princess, Mathernefrum, was held up by bad storms, Ramses II prayed to Set to mitigate the weather and grant her safe travels. This example of praying to Set to help in times of bad storms was pretty common throughout Egypt. So that's another thing that I was like, wait, hold on. Like, this is like a bad guy character, but he's not if you're still like willing to pray to him. And is the belief is that Set can be called upon to aid you in these times. And I think that's another thing. Like, I, as someone who was raised in a monotheistic religion, just trip up on the concept of a deity who has done bad things, but still would be helpful. Because again, monotheistic, we don't have, there is good and evil and there is no room in between. And that's just something that even today in my 30s, as someone who's no longer practicing, have to like untangle in my brain to like better understand and appreciate these older texts. I'm about to jump into my last thing and the thing I've been most excited to get into, but I feel like I've been talking a lot. Does anyone have any thoughts of Set in this protector warrior role?
I mean, I've always loved this part of Set. Like, it makes him, like, much more complex. Like, he's a protector of Ra, an upholder of Ma'at, even when he's also an agent of chaos. Like, this is a complicated guy, okay?
Complicated guy. Yep, absolutely. Okay, so, dear listeners, you may have noticed that, hey, Darien didn't do the iconography, because I have been doing the iconography at the top of the episodes. I actually saved this for last, because it felt like a really fun note to, like, wrap the mythology section on. So, Set is portrayed by a number of, quote, symbolically notorious animals, such as a donkey, a goat, such as a donkey, goat, crocodile, hippo, or certain fish. By the third intermediate period, Set would be most commonly represented as a donkey with a knife through its head to, quote, render it harmless. But for a long time before this, Set was represented by a creature we call the Set animal. Does anyone want to try to describe what the Set animal looks like?
A jackal mixed with a horse.
Interesting. Okay, jackal mixed with a horse. Charlie, what comes to mind when you see it?
I mean, I know there's more to like the body of it, but that's just the head that I see every time that set's represented in that animal anthropomorphic form.
It's like a dog with bunny ears.
Dog with bunny ears, yeah. I get strong anteater vibes. Like rabbit anteater is my thing. It is, I copied a description of the set animal. Dear listeners, if you can, just look up the set animal. I'm not going to try. I could describe this. It's not going to do. It's weird. It's not crazy. Like upside down triangle ears.
Muzzle thing.
Yeah. Curved snout, forked tail. It's so weird. You're going to look at it and you're going to say, what is that thing? And listeners, I have bad news. We don't know.
It's the set animal.
It's the set animal. There have been many theories over the millennia about what this thing could be. Scholars have proposed an oryx, a donkey, a finnick foss, a gerba, a camel, an orcai, an elephant shrew, an aardvark, a giraffe, a pig, an elephant snout fish. This one feels crazy, but okay, look it up, because actually when you see an elephant snout fish, you're like, okay, maybe. Even a jackal. Though I feel like we have lots of examples of how Egyptians drew jackals. So if it was a jackal, I feel like we would be like, that's definitely a jackal. Now, a popular theory that I really liked and wanted to share was proposed by Egyptologist Ken Moss, who claimed the set animal is a sulky, which is a very ancient breed of sighthound native to the region. This is a very long, you look at it's got like greyhound vibes, a very point long, narrow nose. Its tail is long and thin and kind of comes up in a curve almost, which could explain that weird forked knot we see in the set beast. And when it runs, its tail and its ears kind of point straight up. And it was actually very common. It's puppy. It was actually pretty common practice in the region to crop the ears of hunting dogs, which may be why the ears were oddly shaped in the depictions. And there are hieroglyphs depicting sulkies. So this breed is not unknown to the ancient Egyptians. I've got an image in the notes. DJ, did you want me to drop this, or do you?
I Googled it. It's not spelt how you're saying it at the very how it sound. It's like saluki.
Saluki. You're right. I'm probably not adding the inflection in the right.
I'm like Selkie,
places.
and then it's coming up with the fucking D&D seal creature.
Yeah, that's on me. That is on me.
I say Luki.
Saluki. Yep, you're right.
Pronunciation is not anyone's strong suit.
No, we're moving on. Thank you, Charlie. Another line of thinking suggests that whatever the set animal is, this creature was exceedingly rare in the time of the ancient Egyptians and has long since gone extinct. And we will simply never know. Now, all of these are very
Or it could just
fun.
be simply it's a griffin.
DJ,
I don't
you
mean
took the words right out of my mouth.
I don't mean to say it's a griffin, but it's it's the set animal. That's a griffin. That's a chimera. They're not representing a real fucking thing here.
DJ, that was honestly when I was coming up with how to word this, I had griffin in my head, but in the notes I compared it to a Hydra, Pegasus, or Minotaur, but I was thinking griffin. This is the theory that is most widely accepted by Egyptologists and experts in the field, is that this was never a real creature, and it's not meant to be a real living creature. It is meant to symbolize Set, and is no more real than the griffin or the chimera or the Hydra or the Pegasus or the Minotaur. Yeah. It's part of a story, and it's meant to represent things about it, especially iconography. It is the hieroglyph that represents Set. And while the Selkie thing, when you see a Selkie, makes a lot of sense, I really did want to underline that it's probably none of those things. And it probably is just the Set beast.
It's a chaos animal.
Just a chaos animal. Also sometimes called the Typhonic beast, because the Greeks really associated Set with Typhon. And I'm like, okay, man, we're already using all of your names for these gods. I'm not going to let you just miscast them in your own characters, too. I'm not going to do that. It's the Set animal. I won't play your game. All right. So I have some examples of Set in pop culture because I found them very fun. But none of them are from any media that I have personal I watched this episode of this thing and I want to talk about Set here. So does anyone have examples of Set in pop culture or interpretations? I feel like we talked a lot about the interpretations of the episode, but any DJ is Set in SMITE?
Don't interrupt me on this one. You're gonna want to.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Imagine you can, if only for the briefest of moments, glimpse the future. Your spirit yearns to see all that you hold dear prosper, shining like a beacon against all the rest of creation, defiant against hardship and basking in the glow of peace and security. Imagine then seeing the truth, a truth of an altogether different kind. You see your kingdom, the divine beings who protect it and its mortal peoples, and upon looking closer, you see a rot beginning to form. A weakness fraying at the very hearts, a fundamental absence of strength that threatens to spread, yawning wide into a void that will consume all. What lengths would you go to prevent this from happening? What would you sacrifice? Whose blood would you be willing to spill? For the god Set, he would pay any price, even the blood of his own brother Osiris. Set saw the tyrannical control his brother held over the land, the hoarding of strength and power even from his own son. He looked to that son, fair Horus, starved of the means to take the reins of command when his appointed time came, and capable of leading them into any future but darkness. Set looked upon an unworthy king and a worse successor, and he chose to act. He knew that the world would seek to damn him, to decry his deeds as those of a murderer, slavering for power. But Set would endure such lies to save his kingdom. He would seize the throne back from the unworthy and the weak, from the sinister and the corrupt. And in time, when the truth of the world mirrored the truth he desired in his heart, they would throng the streets to praise him. Set would be their deliverance, no matter the cost.
Huh. You're right. I did want to interrupt you.
Yeah, I was reading it earlier, and I'm like, oh, this is fun from Set's perspective. They haven't done that typically.
Yes, interesting. Yeah, I guess is that Set writing the narrative? Or I guess I haven't even considered who is writing these stories that you're reading from SMITE. Like, is it like some omniscient...
For a minute, we called her the Lady of Lore.
Whoa, there was actually lore to the person writing
there
this?
was a character. Yeah, there's a character called the Lady of Lore. She's the one speaking in all the God Reveal trailers. In the last, either season 10 of SMITE, maybe season 9, they presented her as a character, and it was Newt.
Oh!
Because she's, like, decked out in stars for skins.
She's like the Watcher,
so it's like,
yeah.
It's Newt.
I like that. Okay.
Yeah.
But in this one, it's writing what Set believes, what his justification is for his actions.
Justification for his actions, it looks like.
Fascinating. That was delightful. Yeah, that's a big swing.
Great. Actually, after reading this, I'm like, what was Horus's like? So I went to go and check out Horus.
We'll put a pin in that.
Very good. Yeah. So Set's an assassin in SMITE.
Thank you. That makes sense.
And he was a dual release with Horus. Their passives actually like attack each other effectively. I'll get to Horus's passive in the next episode. Mm-hmm. But Set's passive is when he deals damage to somebody, he gains like a 1.25% damage increase, stacking up to like 8 times. And when he attacks Horus, he gets 2 of those stacks.
Yeah. I like that. I like really leaning into the mythology on how these characters interact. Do we see examples of that a lot in SMITE?
No. Or at the very least, nothing to this kind of extent where they're interact. Like we get like voice lines when if Zeus kills Hades, he says, "Go back to the underworld, brother," or something like that.
Dick.
If Thor kills Zeus, he says, "Who's the real god of thunder?" Shit like that.
I like that.
Real fun. Just like fun, small interactions like that throughout the game.
Nice.
Poseidon and Hibwa have some other one too, since they're both like water gods.
Fun. Okay. Charlie, do you have...
The one thing that I have, you already have on the list.
Oh,
I don't have any.
Is it?
I don't.
Is it
guess
the
who
first
watches
one,
Doctor
the second
Who?
one, or the third one?
Guess who watches Doctor Who?
Perfect. Oh, perfect. You can tag in then. This is great. I'm so happy. Okay, well, I'll knock out these. I thought it was probably going to be Doctor Who. Perfect. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit because I was like, okay, where's some good examples of Set? There's got to be some fun interpretations of Set. I want to talk about Conan the Barbarian. Like Robert E. Howard's 1930s sword and sorcery birthed genre, Conan the Barbarian. Like, Did you know Conan fought Egyptian gods? I didn't. And Howard clearly just combined Set and like our Apophis Chaos Serpent, because Set is just a big evil snake monster, sometimes with 7 heads.
There you go.
Now, in the 1950s, and now we're going to swing all the way over to Marvel Comics. Marvel was publishing a series called Marvel Tales, which is just a horror anthology. And issue 96 included a story called The Terror That Creeps, in which Set appears, but just in a flashback sequence. And I get it. This one-off thing seems like a wild pull on my part, but I mention it because we're going to smash cut to the 70s when Marvel gets the rights to adapt the Conan stories into comics. And so that's right, Set, who is a big snake monster still, gets folded in. And while Conan is certainly not considered a Marvel character, this idea of Set absolutely becomes part of like the Marvel lore. And Set's brother, some dude named Kython, would later write a little book called The Darkhold, and he'd give an infant girl the power to use chaos magic. And yeah, that's Wanda Maximoff. And at one point in time, she was about to join a coven that apparently would have put her under Set's control. And Set actually appeared as recently as this past summer in the Immortal Thor number 23, but only in a flashback. And I was like, what does he look like? Is he still a big snake monster? And I couldn't find a frame online of the panel. And I was like, I don't want to buy it. I'm not going to buy it. I don't care. I'm not reading the Immortal Thor. I don't care. Side note, totally off topic. While I'm on the Marvel Wiki looking this up, it shows like trending pages on the side. And I recognize the characters on the trending pages. It's Angela and Sarah, my favorite lesbians. And I'm like, what are my girls doing on the trending pages of the Marvel Wiki? Has something happened? And it's because Angela was just announced for season 4 of Marvel Rivals. And I was like,
that's true. Yeah, she was.
Oh shit.
She looks crazy. She's a flying tank.
Yeah, she's a goddamn Asgardian who was trained as a wingless angel of vengeance. I love her. And her girlfriend, who's a trans bard named Sarah, who can break the fourth wall. And Angela, Queen of Hell, is one of the best limited runs. I cannot recommend it enough. It's so good. It's got some of the best panel work I've ever seen. Anyway, I might have to get into Marvel Rivals.
You won't like it.
No.
So Set actually shows up in Tomb Raider King as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's one of the 3 dogs that our guy gets. And it's Set's pile, and I don't exactly know what a pile is, because it's just like this steak, this white steak with the Set animal carved into the top.
Okay.
But he shows up. He's a dog. I think he's white with like a golden Egyptian thing around his neck, and he's super into Korean style fried chicken. Very into it. He will in fact betray the rest of his pantheon and all other relics for a box of karage.
Listen,
100%.
You haven't had Korean style fried chicken.
As good as fuck.
It's good as fuck. I know when you said steak, you meant like steak Vampire Slayer in the ground thing. But I for a second pictured like a
nice ribeye, just fucking
ribeye with
carved
like
up into
seared images in it of like the Set animal.
No,
and I would eat the shit out of that.
Set's pile, and I googled like an Egyptian pile, nothing came up.
Fascinating.
So I don't know.
Charlie, shall we tag team this? I'll start in the 70s and you can take the year of our Lord 2024. Great. So shout out to Doctor Who, which in 1979 presented Set as not a snake monster, but as a guy with the head of the Set animal. We love to see it. This was an episode. Well, his name was Sutek. Sutek, thank you.
Which probably is his Egyptian name, and not the Greek.
Yeah,
name.
it is.
It's one of those things where we like don't know the vowels, right? Because that's the thing about the Egyptian word. So we just like kind of like this is what it's called. But yeah, so the episode was called Pyramid of Mars, and the villain crosses paths with Tom Baker's 4th Doctor, And it doesn't go well for our spooky guy. He gets re-imprisoned. DJ, I'm going to drop an image in the chat real quick. So I want to show you what Set looked like in this episode from 1975.
Insane.
Because it's pretty goofy, but, like, I don't hate it. It's also like the 70s. Like, we're all having fun here.
Yeah,
We're just trying to make a silly little sci-fi show. No, we're not taking this any seriously. We're just having a good time. So, okay, live chat. Okay, here we go. Oh, I don't know if I can put images in the chat.
No, you just give me a link.
Oh, okay.
Or I'll just, here, you know what? I'll just Google it.
Oh, well, okay. Well,
Doctor.
Okay, Charlie, tell them the next part right now.
So, in modern era Doctor Who, in the last, couple seasons, we've been dealing with, modern gods. And one of them ended up being Sutek. This guy, he's got a new CGI look. He took over the TARDIS.
Oh no, my girl!
Yeah. It was fucking wild how everything happened. So he's, I don't know how he was imagined in the original one, but he is the god of death, according to Doctor Who.
Interesting. So we're just combining the Anubis thing here.
Yeah. I mean, how Doctor Who is doing these, god things, most of them are not, actual mythology gods in any shape or form. This is the most mythology one that we have. So I was like, oh, I know that guy. He looks a little bit different, but I know him. Yeah, he's a weird... Yeah, he's kind of still a weird dog guy.
He's a very
in this version.
Dog guy.
Yeah, he's definitely
terrifying.
giving more Jackal than Set.
Yeah.
Which, okay, yeah, if they're going to be like, he's got a death, you're going to lean more into the Anubis Jackal aesthetic. And I find that a little disappointing, because I think the Set Beast is so crazy. Just do it.
Yeah, they definitely went with more of an Anubis angle. But, yeah, he ends up, killing everything in existence. That's his goal, is to kill all of existence.
Oh, okay.
Make everything death. And the Doctor has to, basically attaches a leash to him. And he's flying in the TARDIS, and he spreads him throughout the entirety of the
cosmos?
Time stream.
The time stream.
So it's well, I've given life to the universe, and I've also killed the god of death. So I carry death with me all around. It's very sad. How it all ends up going.
Of course it is. It's Doctor Who. It's always sad.
Sutek has been, attached to the TARDIS for a while. Probably, maybe it's been since. It's been a while since I rewatched it. But maybe it's been since he was imprisoned.
Oh, probably retconning, yeah.
Yeah, retconning a little bit of stuff. So it's the Doctor really has been, spreading death wherever he goes.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, so it gets pretty emo. It's a pretty emo episode. It's a pretty cool ending, but there's other fun gods too, like the toy maker and the cartoon god and other stuff.
I'm gonna get back into Doctor Who. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna watch Doctor Who.
I'm not gonna do it.
It's gonna happen. I'm gonna do it.
Listen,
I'm gonna get back into Shadowhunters, and I'm gonna get back in Doctor Who again, and it's gonna be Darien V in 2012, 2020. 2012.
The
I heard
Inshudi Gatwa era of Doctor Who.
I do. He seems great. I'm real excited. He's got slick outfits. I'm so excited. I'm gonna get
the
back
gayest,
into Doctor Who.
sexiest Doctor.
Get back into Shadowhunters. I'm gonna do it. Yeah, so I had found a blog post that listed all of these different set, and the blog post is from 2016, right? So I'm not seeing the modern Who stuff. I only find about, because I do end up on the Doctor Who wiki, because I'm trying to find a clear image of what this character looked like in the 70s, right? Because I'm trying to find a good one. And as I'm scrolling down to try to oh, here's a pretty good picture, but are there any better ones? That's how I end up with the CGI one. And I see episode TV, The Legend of Ruby Sunday. And I'm like, wait, hold on. I do know that that's the companion from this modern era. What's going on? And that's what I all caps. Holy shit, he came back. The timing. I can't believe it. I would have known.
If you hadn't brought it up, I would have been excuse me, Darien. I have some fun facts for you.
Oh my god, thank God. Oh, we get to talk about Doctor Who? This is great. This is so fun.
That's all I got. From the few Egyptian shows that I've watched, House Anubis never had Set. So sad.
He's not in The Mummy.
No, he's not.
No, that's just Anubis.
You know what he is actually in?
What?
He's in Tomb Raider, the game series.
With Lara Croft?
With Lara Croft.
Wild.
He's in 2 different games.
What are these games about? Do you remember? No, you wouldn't remember this.
Dad was big into Tomb Raider.
I was going to say, do you remember Dad playing Tomb Raider on the PlayStation 1?
I don't remember PlayStation 1, but I remember him like being big into the PlayStation 2 games.
Okay, I have remember you were an infant, but I have memories of Dad, playing Tomb Raider in our living room with the PlayStation 1.
Yeah, he's there. He's the antagonist for Last Revelation and Temple of Osiris.
Ooh, 2.
So I'm
Good for
seeing
him. That's more than he was the antagonist in any episodes of Stargate SG-1. Apparently, Set's only in 1 goddamn episode. He's called Setash. He's played by a very hot actor, so, like, good for him. But he's just a Monster of the Week character who's killed in the same episode. He's, like, never even brought up again. But I mentioned Stargate in the Osiris episode, so I was like, well, let's swing by Stargate again. And I'm, like, looking at how, like, the plot, and I was like, oh, I bet that Osiris plot was crazy. I watched that entire season. I watched so much Stargate SG-1, but it was like in the heart of the pandemic. It was like lockdown era, right? So I don't remember any of it, but I watched, and I was just like, when do we get to watch Atlantis? Because the buddy I was watching with it kept saying that, oh yeah, Atlantis is better. We're going to have so much fun, but we got to get through SG-1 first. I'm like, when the and we never hit Atlantis.
You hate to see it.
It's fine. I will not be getting back into Stargate. That one I'm okay with. And that's our Set episode, dear listeners. Does anyone have any parting thoughts before we run away into the desert?
I want to see Set in more pop culture.
Yeah,
like
he's
specifically. Fun. He's a fun god. He's somebody, like, I get it. Some of his stories, you don't want to touch that stuff.
Yeah,
God doesn't have those stories, though.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
We can
Everybody loves playing with Zeus.
Adapt. Yeah.
You play with Zeus all the damn
Zeus,
time.
like, not that there's
worse.
a level of worse, but I think there's a level of
doubt
more
it's
heinous.
Because people don't want to touch those stories. It's solely because Set's not near as like popular or well known as any of these other ones.
Which,
and you can that's the it's just a self-perpetuating cycle and it sucks. But what are you gonna do?
yeah, like once upon a time in early Hollywood, someone did an Egyptian thing and they just thought Anubis looked cooler. And that's why it's like Anubis all the time.
No, actually, I think Set looks cooler because there's nothing that looks like him. He's so different.
Tight. Like, is it they just don't want to try
I think it's the
explain
God of Dead thing.
It is the God of Dead thing. Yeah.
God of Dead thing's fun. It's much more fun than
God of chaos and violent storms and
sandstorms.
Listen.
It's hard to represent that stuff nice, easily, succinctly.
If anyone was going to give Imhotep those powers in The Mummy, I think it would have been Set.
It should have been Set. Yeah, it should have been Set, the Set god that he was cursed.
And it shouldn't have been Anubis giving the Scorpion King his army. It should have been the goddess Scorpion, Scorpion goddess,
Serket. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, right? And again, they're not going to do it because it's Anubis.
I'll pull it eventually.
We'll get to her.
Running down the fucking god roster.
I just think Set is such a ripe god for a, like, modern reinterpretation kind of thing. Again, like, as this god of the othered.
Yeah, of the outsider, of the things that are a threat to order.
Yeah. There's just something there that really should be played with more. And like King Chronicles did a lot for Set.
It did a lot for Set.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't think any other media he's your sassy gay uncle. No. So
Charlie, thank you so much for coming on the show. Thank you for reaching out and being like, I want the Set episode. And I'm like, oh, thank God someone wants to come on the Egyptian episodes. I'm sure people will. It's just like, I don't have like here's my list of everything we're covering. So I was like, great, yes, we have someone. When we get to that, I'll hit you up. We'll make it work. So thank you so much. Charlie, where can the people find you?
The people can find me too many places, honestly. If you're just looking for me and like, you know, you can find all my other stuff that way. I'm at Green Pixie 12 most of the social media places. I don't really go on Twitter anymore, but like all the other places like Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, Tumblr, like all the places, Green Pixie 12. But all 3 of my podcasts exist as well. Too many. If you like Muses of Mythology, but you want a little bit more of the like covering chapter by chapter with just a
talk
little
about the books more, yeah.
a little bit of the mythology, like context as you're going through each of the chapters. That's what we do on the Eldest Gods. I covered Set within the span of 10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah, but you were also talking about stuff in the book. We gotta pad
exactly.
out.
Exactly. And so that's what we do on Of the Eldest Gods. I cover Steven Universe with previous guest on this pod, Robert. Y'all love Robert. Y'all know Robert.
Robert's the best.
We talk about lovely gay space rocks. And then
I've been on many episodes of that one, so if you want, where do I start? You can slide in.
Yeah, if you want to hear more of Darien, especially, go to the bits. Because Darien is our Ruby and Sapphire scholar. So
very, very proud. If you want to be like, I don't know, would I like this? I wanted something familiar to anchor it. DJ and I were both on Jailbreak. So you can start there, and you're like, episode. What a fun vibe that you can go back to start episode 1. But yeah, it's my goal is to try to
every single one of
Sapphire episode.
Every time Darien comes on, we have to have a longer and longer episode to beat the last time.
I'm trying. No. I'm just trying to justify my presence. I'm trying to make the having to schedule around my schedule valuable and worthwhile.
Listen. You are an experience.
Oh, really? Thank you. Oh my God, you're an experience too.
Thank you. And then my other last podcast, I talk about Scooby-Doo. From the beginning to now. We're still
talking about Scoobert-Doo.
Scoobert-Doo.
Scoobert-Doobert-Doo.
We're on the Scooby-Doo show right now. That's the one that has all the most of the iconic villains from the movies. If you like the villains from the live action movies. Yeah, a lot of those are from the Scooby-Doo show.
Shut up! But I think Scrappy is in the Scooby-Doo show, right?
No, the 10,000 volt ghost and the tar monster and stuff like that.
Cotton candy monster.
That one's a movie specific one, actually. Sad to see.
Well, because if it was in the animation, the exact same thing would fucking happen.
Right? It would have happened.
We're not scared of the cotton candy monster. They, in fact, could eat that motherfucker. And they did.
They would eat it, and then you'd just see a guy wearing his boxers, and he'd be like,
hey,
what?
When are we gonna get Scooby-Doo and Willy Wonka?
Now, when are we gonna get a pup named Scooby-Doo? With the red heron.
Yeah!
That motherfucker was always a problem. Until the episode he wasn't, in which he was.
Yeah, and Fred was refusing to accuse him.
It's not. It's never been him, and it was.
Well, let's hold up. But don't you jumped over my thing. Bring this to the podcast, Charlie, please. I would like your co-host to weigh in. Scooby-Doo and Willy Wonka, and it's everything's going wrong, and they got to convince someone must be causing this. There must be some sort of ghost, and Wonka's like, "Nah, this is just how it is." And at the end, Velma calls the cops. There are some OSHA violations. There are children endangerment. You need to get down here.
I have a fun fact for you, Darien. There is an episode of What's New Scooby-Doo that is kind of a Willy Wonka-ish episode. Okay. They go to the Scooby Snack Factory, and it's just Willy Wonka's factory, honestly.
Okay. Okay.
There's an homage there.
Dolls Willy Wonka, but because I think Scooby and Shaggy could eat that place down. But no, that's also good. Okay.
It's the Scooby Snack Factory. They have to deal with a Scooby Snack monster, a monster made of Scooby Snacks itself. And they're terrified of it. So they don't eat it.
They should have just eaten it. They should have just
at least
eaten
tried
it
to and then found it was made of whatever. You'll get to that episode eventually. Okay. Charlie,
it was made of the rotten Scooby Snacks.
Ugh. I don't think those can rot. They're I don't want to talk about this anymore. Thank you all so very much for joining us. Charlie, thank you for being on it. Listeners, all of Charlie's shows will be in the show notes. Go follow them there. I almost did the Aragon and back again outro. That's not the show. Darian's tired. We will be back in your ears on Tuesday, September 23rd to talk about Horus. That seems right.
Woo!
Yep.
And until next time, don't be like Zeus.
Don't be like Zeus.
Don't be like Zeus.
Muses of Mythology is created and hosted by Darien and DJ Smart. It's edited by Darien Smart. The show is produced by Darien and DJ Smart, as well as
Tim O'Connor,
The Crystal Conman, Nicholas Miller, Jeffrey Babbitt.
Our music is Athens Festival by Martin Hain.
and our cover is by Ran Kapoka. You can find them on Instagram or through the link in our show notes. Want more Muses of Mythology? Support the show on Patreon. Join the Patreon for free for access to outtakes and bloopers from our main feed episodes, or for $5 a month, you can enjoy our Bunker 9 bonus episodes every other week. Get more at patreon.com/Muses of Mythology.
You can also support the show by leaving a review at lovethepodcast.com/Muses of Mythology, or tell a friend why you love the show.
Don't forget to check out all of our episodes and episode transcripts at musesofmythology.com.
Thanks for listening.